In the new Chevrolet, you get all of the big, important things you want and need in a really modern automobile. Magnificent new styling, both inside and out. Wonderful new comfort in both basic body design and interior appointments. Riding and handling ease you must experience to really appreciate, and power and performance the low-price field has never known. But that's only half the story. Chevrolet's modern engineering carries every major feature at least one step further to give extra features you find on no other car in Chevrolet's price class. That means extra pleasure, extra safety, and extra convenience in your daily driving. Here's a new multi-million-dollar road improvement program in the making. A citywide network of modern expressways. Here's proof of another new road improvement development. It's the unique front ball suspension system that lets you go places you might hesitate to go with any other car. You like hunting and fishing? Go right in deep to your favorite secret haunts. This car can take those murderous wagon trails, and so can you. And you'll roll home with a new feeling of relaxed comfort. With its new ball suspension system, new inclined knee action shock absorbers and coil springs. The new Chevrolet has such front-end stability, the old-fashioned stabilizer bar is no longer needed. Extra features? Watch this. Fun, huh? But hey, doesn't this wash the lubricant off the ball connections in the front suspension? Probably. Just as in normal driving, when sudden squalls flood roads and highways. But the new Chevrolet has revolutionary non-metallic bearing liners around the ball connections. That means longer, more trouble-free operation in all your driving, plus extra protection under extreme conditions. And here's more extra protection. Chevrolet's famous jumbo drum brakes, the largest in the field. Safe, sure stopping every time. That's important. And so is split-second warning to the driver behind you. Extra safety, and you get it only in the new Chevrolet. The stoplight switch is the safe mechanical type, completely independent of the hydraulic brake system. So, regardless of brake adjustment, the instant you touch the brake pedal, your stoplights flash on. And in the new Chevrolet, the brake pedal linkage and stoplight switch are up inside the car, away from road splash. Extra protection, extra assurance of working efficiency. And the new Chevrolet adds still another extra exclusive braking feature. The normal tendency to a front-end nosedive is automatically counteracted. A completely new feeling of comfort and assurance. And you get it only in the new Chevrolet. Now, meet Miss Darlene Dalton, a real genuine outdoor girl. As you might suspect, Miss Dalton in action is something to see. A one-sport girl? Not Miss Dalton. There are sports and sports. And this one involves a new Chevrolet. Take a gander down the track. An interesting challenge to anyone's steering ability. But watch this. It seems Miss Dalton has her own way of doing things. Unconventional, perhaps, but it proves a point. Chevrolet's modern engineering gives something extra in standard steering ease. An exclusive free-rolling ball race system. The smoothest standard steering there is. Here's a new way to keep warm. smooth steering plus a short turning radius. It's easy on a motorcycle or in a new Chevrolet. With less body overhang, both front and rear, and better weight distribution, the new Chevrolet gives you the shortest turning radius in its field, plus easier front wheel control. This all adds up to effortless handling ease on the road and extra driving pleasure. And rear end stability, more Chevrolet bonus engineering. Longer, softer acting, outrigger mounted rear springs give extra rear seat riding comfort. But let's stop here and go back to the beginning of this trip. All around this car, you find extra consideration for the owner. One key for all the locks. A trunk lid counterbalanced through its full travel, both up and down. Rounded trunk lid corners for extra safety. The lowest trunk sill in Chevrolet's field by many inches. Easier loading and unloading. A driver-centered glove compartment, angled down so things fall in instead of out. And for coffee breaks on the road, another extra. Windshield wipers, the dependable cable type, with the motor outside the passenger compartment for quieter operation. And you simply turn the headlamp switch to check the back seat situation. When they're locked, rear door handles freewheel harmlessly, standard on all Chevrolet 4-door models. And when they're unlocked, the most convenient rear seat exit and entry in Chevrolet's price class. Plus the extra convenience of keyless locking on all doors. And you get plenty of extra going features, especially with Chevrolet's remarkable new Turbofire V8 engine, the smoothest, quietest, high-power V8 engine in the business. And it should be. The complete engine is precision mass balanced after assembly in unique electronically operated machines. These machines automatically determine how much the engine is out of balance, and then automatically bring it into balance. Only Chevrolet in the entire industry takes this extra step with such ultra-modern machines. And the result? The smoothest, quietest power from the engine with the best power-to-weight ratio in Chevrolet's field for either conventional or automatic driving. And for lowest cost automatic driving, here's the only 6-cylinder engine in Chevrolet's field with extra quiet, extra efficient hydraulic valve lifters, plus an automatic downshift for flashing starts and surging passing power. Extra performance, extra quality, extra value. You get them all in the new Chevrolet. All because Chevrolet's modern engineering goes one step further.